Section 6.4. Today we're going to be solving absolute value equations. So when we finish, I expect you to be able to solve an absolute value equation. So first, just a reminder, absolute value is the distance a number is from zero on a number line. And one thing that's really important to remember is that distance is always positive. Now, if I have the absolute value of x is equal to 5, what are the possible values of x? Well, I know that when I take the absolute value of a number, that it's positive. So if I have the absolute value of 5, well, that's going to give me 5. Now, the other thing I could have is the absolute value of negative 5. Could also be 5. So I have two values that x could be. X could either be a positive 5 or a negative 5 because whatever's inside the absolute value bars is positive. Okay, now let's take a look at this one. What are the possible values of x if I have the absolute value of x plus 3 is equal to 4? Now I have to remember that what's inside here could be negative, and when they take the absolute value of it, it gives me my positive 4. Or what's inside here could just combine to give me a positive 4. So I have to take both of those conditions into account. So I'm going to rewrite this. So I'm going to have x plus 3 is equal to 4. That's going to take care of my positive possibility. And then over here, I'm going to have x plus 3 is equal to negative 4. And that's going to take care of the possibility that what's inside these brackets could be negative. Then I'm just going to go through and solve. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. The first equation. So I end up with x is equal to 1. Now let's go and do the same thing on the other side. Subtract 3. And then I have x is equal to negative 7. So either x is equal to 1 or x is equal to negative 7. I can also go through and I can check. So when I go through and check, I have the absolute value of 1 plus 3, and I hope it equals 4. Well, 1 plus 3 is 4. The absolute value of 4 is 4. So 4 is equal to 4. That one checks out. Let's check the other one. The absolute value of negative 7 plus 3 is equal to 4. Well, the absolute value, let's see, negative 7 plus 3, it's going to give me the absolute value of negative 4. Absolute value of negative 4 is positive 4. So this one checks out as well. Okay, let's look at a couple of more. Exact same process. I'm going to write this 2 times. I'm going to have a possibility that inside the brackets is positive. So I'm just going to rewrite what I have. X plus 2 is equal to 4. And then I'm going to have a possibility that what's inside those brackets is really negative. But I don't know that because I'm taking the absolute value of it. So then I have x plus 2 is equal to negative 4. So now I'm just going to go through and solve. Minus 2 from both sides on my first equation. So I have x is equal to 2. Subtract 2 over here on my second equation. And I have x is equal to negative 6. So these are my possible solutions. And if I want to check them real quick, that's real easy. I'm just going to say absolute value of 2 plus 2. Well, 2 plus 2 is 4. The absolute value of 4 is 4. This one checks out. The other one, the absolute value of negative 6 plus 2, I'm hoping is equal to 4. Well, negative 6 plus 2, that's going to give me 4. or negative 4, I'm sorry. Absolute value of negative 4 is 4. This one checks out as well. Now another thing that's going to happen is our equations are going to get a little more complicated. So we're going to do the same thing, but the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we have the absolute value bars all by themselves. So the first thing, we're going to add 5 to both sides. So then we have the absolute value of 2x minus 7 is equal to 9. Now once we have the absolute value bars on one side and just my constant on the other, now I can go through and I can take my two equations into account. I have my positive possibility, where I could have 2x minus 7 is equal to 9. And then I have my negative possibility, where I have 2x minus 7 is equal to negative 9. So the first one, I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So I have 2x is equal to 9 plus 7 is 16. Divide both sides by 2. So I have x is equal to 8. Let's look at the other one. I'm going to add 7 to both sides over here. So now I have 2x is equal to negative 9 plus 7. Take the small number from the large number, keep the sign of the large. So it's going to give me negative 2. Divide both sides by 2. So I have x is equal to negative 1. Okay, so these are my solutions. So x is equal to 8, or x is equal to negative 1. And as always, I can always go back and check. I could say, okay, I have 2 times 8 minus 7 minus 5 is equal to 4. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 minus 7, that gives me 9. So I have the absolute value of 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. So that does give me 4. So this one does check out. I could do the same thing on the other side. I could have the absolute value of 2 times negative 1 minus 7 minus 5 is equal to 4. Absolute value of negative 2 minus 7 minus 5. Oh, the absolute value of negative 9 minus 5. Oh, absolute value of negative 9 is positive 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. This one checks out too. Both my answers are correct. Okay, let's do one more. Once again, I want to isolate my absolute value bars. I want to just have it all over there all by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So now I have the absolute value of 5x plus 1 is equal to 14 minus 3 gives me 11. Now I can rewrite it where I have my positive possibility and my negative possibility. So for my positive possibility, I have 5x plus 1 is equal to 11. For my negative possibility, I have 5x plus 1 is equal to negative 11. First one, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So now I have 5x is equal to 10. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So I have x is equal to 2. Now the next one, again subtract 1 from both sides. So now I have 5x is equal to negative 12. Divide both sides by 5. So now I get x is equal to negative 12 over 5. And if you would like to write that as a decimal, 12 divided by 5 is 2.4. So x is equal to negative 2.4. And that would be your solution.